What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Bob's Basement. I'm your handsome host, R. Bob El Said, man. I know it's been a little minute, but I'm back. I had to get my life together, man, but I'm back with another episode for y'all. It's just me today. I hope that's enough, man. I hope y'all aren't disappointed. But, I got some stuff I want to talk to y'all about this today, man. Today is August 5th, 2025. And when the great month of August comes around, that means football is right behind it. We got college football starting at the end of this month. We got a great week one, starting off with my Clemson Tigers facing LSU in the real Death Valley, South Carolina. There's a lot to be made about this game, a lot of hype around this game. I, myself, personally have not been this excited to see a week one football game in a long time. I can't name another week one football game I've been this excited to see, man. Just an early prediction for this year. With my bias aside, everybody knows I'm a Clemson fan. With my Clemson bias aside, I think Clemson's going to win the national championship, man. When you talk about this Clemson team bringing back the most production in college football, the best quarterback in college football, the best receiving core in college football, the best defensive line in college football, one of the best offensive lines in college football, and the best coach in college football, that is just a recipe for a national championship, man. Clemson figured it out late last season. They started putting things together. If you go back and watch that Texas game, aside from Clemson not being able to stop the run, that team looked dangerous, man. With the addition of Tom Allen at defensive coordinator, I believe those problems will be fixed. Like I said, the best D-line in college football. Peter Woods, I believe, is the best D-tackle in college football. T.J. Parker, one of the best DNs, if not the best DN in college football. We bring in Will Helt from Purdue. And like I said, Tom Allen bringing that defensive mindset from Penn State, one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. Probably could have took a head coach job somewhere. It comes to Clemson. The energy on that defense is different. The two games that people point to on this Clemson schedule this year is obviously week one versus LSU at home and the final week of the season against South Carolina. I won't speak about the South Carolina game. If you know me, you know one of my best friends, Jared Brown, plays for South Carolina. Bitter rivals, but that's my guy, man. So I won't speak on that game. I'll leave my predictions to myself. But week one, man, a lot of people were talking about it. It's very hyped. I think it's the most hyped week one game that I've been a fan of personally. I don't think I've ever been this excited for a week one game. NFL talent on both teams. A lot of people were saying, two elite quarterbacks. Me personally, I believe there's only one elite quarterback in that game. Two elite wide receiver cores. LSU has a great running back. It's going to be a great game, man. But like I said, I believe there's only one elite quarterback in that game, and his name is Cade Klubnik. I'm a very avid Garrett Nussmeier hater. If there's 100 Garrett Nussmeier haters, I'm one of them. If there's no Garrett Nussmeier haters, I have unfortunately passed away, man. I believe he's overhyped, bro. A lot of people make him out to be this round one quarterback, this and that, and I just don't see it, man. I see a lot of one-read throws with him. I see a lot of yards after the catch kind of guy, man. I see a lot of – he's a good game manager with great receivers, man. I see a lot of Brock Purdy in his game, you know what I mean? He's not a game changer like I believe Cade Klubnik is, man. A guy that can really push the ball down the field, a guy that's, a veteran in that locker room, a guy that's been in the system now that can run that offense better than anybody, a guy that – goes through all his progressions, doesn't make mistakes. I think he had 3, 4, 5 turnovers, 6 picks last season. Something in that ballpark, man. A guy that's going to make the right decision. So if we're talking about elite quarterbacks, I believe Cade Klubnik is the best quarterback in the nation. I believe him and Garrett Nussmeier are not in competition. I believe he's far and away the best quarterback in the nation. I believe it sounds like I'm being super biased and I'm glazing this Clemson team, which I really don't want to do, but I believe Clemson is going to go on and win the national championship. I believe Cade Klubnik will win the Heisman Trophy. I believe that Dabo Swinney will silence a lot of the haters this year, man. A lot of people, including me, I was skeptical of Dabo at a certain point when, everybody's using the portal. Clemson wasn't. We're putting together 3 lost seasons, you know what I mean? I was also telling Dabo, you got to adapt, man. Adapt or die, sink or swim. But he's proven, his system works, bro. You bring in the guys, you keep the guys. We don't bring in people a lot in the portal, but we also don't lose a lot of people in the portal. You know what I mean? People get there, they buy in, they go through, they develop, they play when they play, and you don't have to go get guys from the portal every year to come and mess up the culture. You know what I'm saying? that's the way he does it. And I believe a lot of people are going to have to turn around and eat their words after this season and apologize to Dabo and apologize to Clemson fans. And, it's going to be a lot of heel turning after this season. Not only is college football back, not only is Clemson football back, but the NFL football is back. Preseason, the first game was this past weekend with the Hall of Fame game. And I'm very excited, man. Another prediction I got for y'all. A lot of people aren't going to like this one. A lot of people are going to call me crazy, but I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to be a real contender this year, man. I believe the Atlanta Falcons break that little streak we've had of missing the playoffs the last few seasons, and we ride on the back of Michael Penix's paws, and we get to the playoffs, man. I believe we're real contenders. We go out and get a new DC. That's something we really need. Our DC last year was terrible. He was horrible. I could have called a better scheme than him. We go out and address the edge rusher room with James Pierce and Jalen Walker, two of the best edge rushers from last season. We end up getting both of them. I believe Michael Penix in that Drake London connection. I believe in Kyle Pitts this season. I believe Bijan Robinson will make a jump to be top 3 running back in the NFL if he isn't already. I believe him and Saquon, 2 best running backs in the NFL currently. And if I'm really getting bold, and if I'm talking like how I talk on the Xbox party, don't be surprised if the Atlanta Falcons make the Super Bowl. Don't be surprised if Atlanta Falcons make the Super Bowl. Bob on Bob's Basement told you first. Do not be surprised if the Atlanta Falcons make it to the Super Bowl. Obviously, in the NFC, we have to worry about Philly and that super team they got. But everybody knows how hard it is to get back to the Super Bowl after you went, man. A lot of people have a bad year. They lost some pieces. The whole team is still there. They're still a super team, like I said. But if we can get past Philly, I don't see anybody else in the NFC really stopping us, man. I believe we're going to win the NFC South comfortably win the NFC South, whatever. The Saints are terrible. The Panthers are terrible. The Buccaneers are all right. I don't see them getting much better, man. Mike Evans, can you put together another 1,000-yard season for the 100th year in a row? Maybe not. Chris Godwin, is he? No. I don't believe in that Tampa Bay team. They're not better than the Atlanta Falcons team. If we could put it all together, we're definitely better on paper, but, obviously we'll see when it comes around. I believe Michael Penix is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I believe he was the best quarterback drafted last season. Better than Jaden Daniels, better than Bo Nix, better than whoever else got drafted last season, I believe in him over all of them. Better than J.J. McCarthy. So I'm excited for this Falcons team, man. I know it's not the first time I've been excited for a Falcons team that has let me down, but, we'll see. Sticking to the NFL and sticking with football, Cam Newton versus Jalen Hurts has been a topic of discussion this week. Cam Newton on his 4th and 1 podcast stated his top 10 quarterbacks going into the season, and Jalen Hurts wasn't one of them. And a lot of people around the league were very upset with it. Gilly the Kid was very upset with it. Gilly the Kid and Cam Newton are beefing right now about this list.
Cam ain't never had one of these. Now I ain't going back and forth with you, nigga. Thank you, Jalen. Appreciate you, Jalen. Love you, Nick. Love you, Nick. Appreciate you, Jalen. Cam Newton never had one of these. I said Cam Newton never got one of these.
And I just really can't believe that there are real human beings, real people that walk the same earth as me and you, that breathe the same air as me and you, that drink the same water as me and you, that put on their pants the same way as me and you, really truly believe that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Cam Newton. And it's like, we couldn't have been watching the same Cam Newton, and we can't be watching the same Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts plays on the most well-rounded team in the league. He plays behind the best offensive line in the league. He's played with multiple All-Pros, multiple Hall of Famers on that O-line, multiple All-Pros out at wide receiver, multiple All-Pros on that defense. Jalen Hurts has the weapons that no other. Jalen Hurts has weapons that Cam Newton couldn't have dreamt of. And it's like, I don't know where this recency bias comes from. Cam Newton didn't play that long ago. Cam Newton didn't step away from the game that long ago. The film is still there. This isn't like Bill Russell 100-point game talks. The film is still there. It's very accessible. You can go pull up the film right now today. Jalen Hurts can't do anything on the field that Cam Newton can't. I understand that, he has 50 touchdowns, 50 rushing touchdowns off of tush push, you know? He throws to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard all day. Cam Newton's best receiver was who? Ted Ginn, Kelvin Benjamin, Greg Olson, Steve Smith Sr. when he was 40. Like, what are we talking about here, bro? If you put Cam Newton, prime Cam Newton, 2015 Cam Newton, one of the best players I've ever seen. That Superman Cam Newton MVP season, that 15 and when he backpacked that garbage 15-0 team, the worst 15-0 team ever. The worst roster 15-0 team I think ever, bro. Cam Newton literally backpacked a group of bums, bro. Let me read you some notable players that Cam Newton has played with in his tenure. And let me tell me honestly if you remember any of these guys or if you can think of anything they have done or anything that hasn't been because of Cam Newton being as great as he is. His number one target, Ted Ginn, Devin Funchess, Kelvin Benjamin, Brandon LaFell, Corey Brown, and Mike Tolbert at the running back position. No all-pro guys, no Hall of Fame guys, no game-changing guys, no guys you're like, damn, I wish they were on my team. None of those guys. But when you think about Jalen Hurts' career, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, he's always had one of the best offensive lines in the league. Cam Newton had to stand behind one of the worst offensive lines in the league for majority of his career. All of his career. That's why Cam Newton's career was cut so short. His offensive line was so bad, his shoulder went out, bro, from taking all those hits. You put Cam Newton on this Philly team, a lot of people, and the silver lining that people look for to save Jalen Hurts in this argument, because there's not one thing that Jalen Hurts does better on the NFL football field or the football field in general better than Cam Newton. There's not one thing he does better than Cam Newton. He has more rushing touchdowns than Cam Newton, but when you put the context of the tush push, and that's just them getting down to the one and everybody pushing them in, those aren't the same rushing touchdowns that Cam Newton got. Cam Newton got real rushing touchdowns. When you put the context behind these stats, you really see. Like, if you really watch the games, you'll really see. You put Cam Newton on any of those. You put Cam Newton on this Philly team, they have the same outcome. They win the Super Bowl as well. Cam Newton being able to will that sorry Carolina team to the Super Bowl is an accomplishment in itself. Him winning the MVP of the league is something Jalen Hurts won't do. It's something he hasn't done yet, something I don't see him doing. And I think that holds more weight than Jalen Hurts' Super Bowl ring. And that's really why I don't like ring culture, especially in football, but it could be said for all sports, man. Excuse me. I don't think obviously winning a ring is important, man. That's what you play for. That's what the team's goal is at every year is to win the Super Bowl, man. But when we're talking about individually comparing players, I don't hold rings as the standard. You know what I'm saying? Rings isn't the end all be all for me when it comes to comparing players. Individual accolades to me mean more because football is the ultimate team sport, bro. You know what I mean? I don't see anything that Jalen Hurts does on the football field better than Cam Newton. He's not a better passer of the ball than Cam Newton, even though Cam Newton had a terrible wide receiver core. He doesn't pass the ball better than Cam Newton. He doesn't run the ball better than Cam Newton. I believe people had the game plan for Cam Newton more than they have the game plan for Jalen Hurts. Cam Newton is a real game changer. I don't see Jalen Hurts as that. I see Jalen Hurts as the Brock Purdy. I see Jalen Hurts as the Brock Purdy type. Good game manager. Don't let me take that away from him. I don't want it to sound like I'm a Jalen Hurts hater, but he's not a game changer. He's not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, I believe. There's a lot of guys you put on that Philly team that would have the same outcome. They would have won the Super Bowl just like Jalen Hurts. That team is just too good. That team is too balanced. Like I said, the best offensive line in the NFL in front of them, the best running back in the NFL alongside them, a top 10 wide receiver in A.J. Brown, a top 15 receiver in Devontae Smith, a top 10 defense, top 5 defensive line. You put not any quarterback, but most quarterbacks, about 29 of the other quarterbacks in the league, I believe they win that Super Bowl with them. Jalen Hurts does a great job managing the game. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't turn the ball over. But it's not hard when you have that team. If you swapped Cam Newton and Jalen Hurts, right? Jalen Hurts doesn't have a season like Cam does in Carolina. Jalen Hurts doesn't have that 2015 season where he gets them to the Super Bowl. He doesn't have that 2015 season where he wins the MVP. But if you put Cam Newton on this Philly team, yeah, Cam Newton gets them to the Super Bowl. Cam Newton wins the Super Bowl with them. And it's not even a discussion. And this is why I don't like ring culture and rings being the silver lining. If you look at this whole Jalen Hurts and Cam Newton argument, anybody on the Jalen Hurts side, oh, you don't have a ring, Cam Newton. You don't have a ring, Cam Newton. You don't have a ring, Cam Newton. What does that mean? I understand the importance of a Super Bowl. I understand that that's what teams set out every year to go win the Super Bowl. I understand that that's the ultimate goal. But football is the ultimate team sport. There's 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense, 11 guys on special teams, and it comes down to each of those 11 guys doing their job, bro. There's been many great quarterbacks that had the season of their lives, and it amounts to nothing because they don't have a defense. Why would I hold that against a quarterback that their defense, if a quarterback goes out and scores 30 points and their defense gives up 35 and they lose, I'm not blaming the quarterback for that. I'm not, Jalen Hurts didn't go out there and play defense. Jalen Hurts didn't get an interception in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts didn't sack Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? That ring is great, man. It definitely goes to his legacy. But when we're comparing players, I'm not going to say, oh, he's better than Cam Newton because he has a ring. No, that took the whole team. And that's just that's not just football. That's basketball as well. This ring culture, ring talk has been used to bail out many players. It all started with one bald guy in Chicago. They used that to bail him out to say he's better than LeBron, which we know he's not. You know what I mean? But yeah, especially in football, when there's 11 guys, bro, a quarterback can do anything, bro, can do everything right. Left tackle doesn't block, it doesn't matter. Wide receiver doesn't run the right route, it doesn't matter. It's so much stuff that has to come together. So for you to take the ring and just use it as this guy's accomplishment is impossible, bro. When we're comparing NFL quarterbacks, when we're comparing players in general, it should be your individual accomplishments. Cam Newton has an MVP. Jalen Hurts doesn't have that. How many great quarterbacks in the league that have came, that are here now, don't have an MVP? You know what I mean? That is a crazy accomplishment. And I can name multiple quarterbacks that don't have a ring that we can all agree are better than Jalen Hurts. If you're not biased, Lamar Jackson better than Jalen Hurts. Josh Allen better than Jalen Hurts. Joe Burrow better than Jalen Hurts. If you talk about some guys that retired, Matt Ryan better than Jalen Hurts. I almost want to say that Justin Herbert better than Jalen Hurts. You put Justin Herbert on that Eagles team, what do they do? Keep it a buck. If you put Jalen Hurts on that Chargers team, what do? Nothing. The same thing. If you put Justin Herbert on this Eagles team, I can see them winning the Super Bowl 100%. Justin Herbert's best receiver right now can't catch a cold. Is he better? Does that make him worse than Jalen Hurts? No, it's a team game, bro. Rings is not the end all be all. We need to eliminate ring culture from sports. You want to go ahead and talk basketball? There are plenty of guys with a ring that are not better than guys without a ring. Plenty of guys. Derek White has a ring. He's not better than Chris Paul. He's not better than James Harden. Not to slight Derek White. He's a great player, but he's not better than these guys. And just because he has a ring does not make him better than these guys. And I also want to know when it became so cool and acceptable to just shit on Cam Newton, bro. Obviously, his NFL career wasn't what people thought it would be, I guess, even though, like I said, he does have that Heisman win. He did take his team to the Super Bowl. Obviously, they came up short in the Super Bowl. But if you go back and look, Von Miller had one of the best games in NFL history that day. Cam Newton had Michael Orr protected his blind side. And everybody only knows Michael Orr from the goddamn movie. He's trash. So I'm not holding that Super Bowl loss against him. When you talk about Cam Newton, the Heisman Trophy winner, the first overall pick in the NFL draft, 11 seasons, 32,382 passing yards, 194 touchdowns, 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time Offensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. So I believe we owe Cam Newton some respect, bro. Him and Gilly the Kid going back and forth. Cam Newton's NFL career or football career shits on Gilly's music career. If we're being honest, I like Gilly, but we owe Cam Newton some respect. I don't know why it became so abundantly acceptable to diminish everything that guy's done for the game of football. One of the best dual threat quarterbacks ever. If you ask me, the best college quarterback ever so far. And he changed the game, bro, for a lot of people. So I believe we owe Cam Newton some respect. And this is a disrespectful conversation. Jalen Hurts is not in the same conversation as Cam Newton. Jalen Hurts belongs in the Who can I say, man? I don't know, bro. Like I said, Brock Purdy. He's a good Brock Purdy, bro. But all right, y'all. Appreciate you guys tapping into another episode of Bob's Basement. It's a quick one. No guests this week. I'm working on getting some more out here for you guys so I can keep putting out videos. I promise not to be away as long as I was last time. And yeah, we're going to keep it rolling. I appreciate you guys. Till next time.
Yeah.